Hi guys, my name's Asmi. So, I've always wanted to do a YouTube channel for the longest time. I've had a couple ideas in mind, and this is one of them. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and, start. This is a place where I question and I analyze after watching anime shows, movies, and playing video games. Specifically, the ones that caught my attention in regards to where and how the creators got their inspiration from. Is there any connections to old folklore tales, myths, or historical references that perhaps us as the audience missed while enjoying the content? Well, let's just go ahead and get started. Let's jump right onto it. Today, I will be talking about our favorite beloved and popular character, Sailor Moon, the guardian of love and justice. From the 90s version and recently, Sailor Moon Crystal. Tsukino Usagi, a 14-year-old student at Juban Public Middle School. Her story starts after she encounters a cat named Luna when she removes a bandage on her forehead that reveals a crescent moon placed by obnoxious kids. I need to be reminded on how kids are precious. That's just brutal. Let's move on. Now, Luna has come from the moon in search of Sailor Moon, Princess Serenity, the rest of the Sailor Guardian Scouts, and recover and protect the Silver Crystal. But her priority is Sailor Moon and guiding her to fight against evil, whom has set a threat to Earth. Though the threat is unknown to Luna at first. She just knows she needs to start and complete her mission given by Queen Serenity. But Usagi is extremely lazy. She gets too emotional. It's normal. Okay, it's normal. Just watch your limit. For real. I'm not kidding. Constantly daydreaming about cute boys and getting married one day. Hates doing her homework or studying for exams, let alone attending school. If she's not doing any of the above, she loves to play at the arcade or reading manga at home. But I asked myself when I watched the series, why is a rabbit constantly associated with the protagonist? We see rabbit designs on Usagi, such as her lunchbox, her umbrella, her bed sheets, casual clothing, when she's not wearing her school uniform, just to name a few. Well, to answer that question, first we need to look at her name. In Japanese, one's family name, last name, comes first, and then their given name, first name. With that, there's always a form of wordplay behind the name. It holds a meaning purposely to describe one's characteristics and personality. Okay, guys, so I messed up on a small thing and I want to correct myself. Tsukino has two separate meanings. Tsuki means moon, and I thought that no meant on. So, while Usagi means rabbit, that would translate to rabbit on the moon. And I'm actually wrong on the no part for Tsuki. As I mentioned before, Tsuki has two separate meanings. Tsuki meaning moon, and no can mean of, field, or civilian. Usagi means rabbit, and with that, it has many meaning variations that I am no expert at all. But from what I understand, Tsukino Usagi translates to rabbit of the moon. It is still similar to rabbit on the moon. So it's just that one small part that I wanted to correct myself with. If I ever mess up on anything, please comment below. I am always wanting to learn new things. If there's anything you guys want to share, just comment below. And while we're at it, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and then click that bell button. So then that way you'll be notified when the next video is uploaded. Now, let's get back to the video. So, what is the rabbit on the moon? Well, Westerners may not be familiar with it as it originates from Southeast Asia, but it's like the man on the moon. You can spot the image of the rabbit on the moon on the 15th of the 8th of the lunar calendar, the roundest moon of the year. Like all tales and myths, there's different versions. This one, the story varies country to country, and then that also varies what the rabbit is seen pounding on a motar. For example, just to name a few here, In China, the rabbit is seen making Chinese herbal medicine and the elixir of immortality for Chang'e, whom I will talk about later on. In Japan, the rabbit is seen pounding on mochi, and in Korea, the rabbit is seen making rice cakes. The tales of the rabbit is originally traced back to ancient India and in Buddhism, found in the ancient texts known as the Yakata tales, dating between 300 BC and 400 AD. This text contains more than 500 tales and describes 34 of Buddhist Shakyamuni's previous lives. Well, before being reborn as a human, as Siddhartha Gautama, the enlightened one. Now, you may be sitting there. How does this even relate to the rabbit on the moon? Well, in story number 6, it talks about how Buddha is being reborn as a rabbit who is quote unquote virtuous, beautiful, and good. His own close friends, an otter, a jackal, and a monkey, they treat him as a leader who then become his students. And the rabbit instructs his students that when the moon is full, which is a holy day, Apsatha day, of fasting, if they see beggars, to offer aid and bring food they can offer. Here's a bit of a twist though. The rabbit knew his students would be able to bring food, but he himself could not, because all he can offer is grass, and well, man cannot eat that. So the rabbit decided that if by chance the beggars would appear, the rabbit decided he would offer himself as meat. Sakra, ruler of the heavens and lord of all gods, heard the rabbit's intentions or thoughts. To test the rabbit's true intentions, Sakra came down from the heavens disguised as an old beggar and then encounters the rabbit and his friends. To help the old beggar, the otter brought fish, the fox brought milk, and the monkey brought mangoes. Exactly how the rabbit knew he would not be able to provide food for the old beggar, he asked his friends and the old beggar to build a fireplace, and he jumps onto the fire to offer himself as meat. So for that, humbled by the rabbit's sacrifice, the old beggar, then revealing himself as Sakra, quickly grabs the rabbit left unharmed. Sakra then imprints an image of the rabbit on the surface of the moon as a reminder of a self-sacrifice, resembling pity, righteousness, and sacrifice. Now that touched me right there, because that's a very self-sacrificing rabbit. Whoa, that sounded so wrong. What I'm trying to say is that the rabbit has my respects because he has a pure heart. A very, very pure heart. Though the details of the story change as it is spread through word of mouth during the trade of the Silk Road, a connection of trade routes that connect East Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, Persia, the Arabian Peninsula, East Africa, and Southern Europe. And that, my friends, it is great for economic, political, cultural, religious ideas to be traded and spread throughout the land. So let's take a look at the version from China. It is a bit longer, so please, 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 bear with me. It starts with Jade the Emperor punishing Wu Gong, who is a god. It starts with Jade the Emperor punishing Wu Gong, the god that's in charge of making medicine and the elixir of immortality for the gods. He had prohibitively gave the elixir of immortality to mortals. His fitting punishment, forcing Wu Gong to cut a tree, and no matter how many times Wu Gong would cut from that tree, it would always grow back. And that forces him to do this for all eternity. That must be tough. Now, the emperor needs to find someone new to fill in Wu Gong's position. Not a god, but an animal, as they will not become easily corrupt. So he sends 3 men for the search. Now, I'm just going to skip through the details here. And the reason I'm saying that is because it is similar to the previous story, how the rabbit sacrifices itself, his image lands on the surface of the moon. One thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that the version on the Yakata tales is that Sakra is only testing the true intentions of the rabbit. It doesn't mention how the rabbit is even brought to the heavens. Yet in the Chinese version, there was just a search from the rabbit. Conditionally, the rabbit happened to be chosen. Now let's just go ahead and get back to the story here. Now the rabbit is the new medicine maker, and he is named after the emperor. You guessed it, Jade the Rabbit. Then Queen Mother of the West appears and demands that the rabbit gives her an extra potion of the elixir of immortality. The rabbit knows that this is prohibited. Immortals are only allowed to get one, just one, elixir of immortality every thousands of years. But afraid and didn't want it to cause her any rage, the rabbit agreed. I mean, she is a pretty big deal. I don't even want to know how scary she is. I mean, no, thank you. No, thank you. Keep in mind what just happened is related to another story involving Hoi and Changa. A quick summary, Hoi went on the search for the elixir of immortality. After him and his wife Changa were stripped from immortality, which the Queen Mother of the West gives that elixir of immortality to him, and also careful instructions that it must be split between him and his wife. Curious and unable to remain patient, Changa drinks the full elixir of immortality, which she begins to float against her will. She can't go to the heavens for reasons, and now, not knowing where she can go, she aims to the moon, where she will live there for all eternity. Due to the length of the story, and it's a lot to fit in one video, that can be subject for another time. Already aware of what happened as the heavens shook, the emperor went to visit the rabbit. The rabbit explains what occurred, but now he's aware of his actions and is ready to face the consequences. The emperor responds that the rabbit must pick a fitting punishment. No buts or ifs. So the rabbit decides to go and live on the moon, as he is responsible for Changa ending up living on the moon. The emperor agrees as it is perfect. The rabbit can still be the medicine maker and make the elixir of immortality, but no one will have easy access to it, stopping from history repeating itself, people. So now that the rabbit lives on the moon with Changa, that's it. That's where it ends. Though the story doesn't just appear in the East, as it appears halfway across the world in Aztec mythology, present-day southern Mexico. It starts with Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, god of the winds, rain, and the creator of the world and mankind. Now that's a badass god. Roaming around the land in his human form until nightfall. After such a long walk, exhausted and hungry, Quetzalcoatl decides to rest, and he stumbles upon a rabbit who is eating grass. The rabbit asks the god if he is hungry and that the rabbit would offer himself as food. The god was humbled. He picked up the rabbit and while doing so imprinted an image of the rabbit on the surface of the moon. So the world will forever remember the rabbit's self-sacrifice. Main point of the tale of the rabbit on the moon is that the little rabbit is selfless and it will sacrifice itself for the sake of one's survival. Now, what does this say about Usagi? Usagi resembles selflessness, sacrifice, kindness, and being caring the same way as the rabbit on the moon is portrayed? God, no. Well, it's a part of her. Usagi does not encapsulate everything. Remember in the beginning description that I had given of Usagi? That doesn't mean that Usagi doesn't grow and we see her go through a character development. As her story progresses in the 90s version, she was always loving and caring of others. But then when she finds herself in dire situations, she then sacrifices herself to try to save someone in danger. She comes to understand her duty as Sailor Moon, remembering her past life as Princess Serenity and future Neo Queen Serenity, putting her life on the line to protect not just the citizens, but also the other Sailor Guardians, the outer Sailor Guardians. Sailor Neptune, Sailor Uranus, and Sailor Pluto. Despite their conflict with Sailor Moon and the inner Sailor Guardians regarding the life and death decision of Sailor Saturn, she will continue to fight and make sure Earth is not threatened by evil, caring for the safety of others and preferring to do something than not doing nothing at all. In the new recent Sailor Moon Crystal version, Usagi is portrayed more mature and a better critical thinker than the 90s version. Just my opinion. The way I see this is that the Usagi we see in the Crystal version, she quickly becomes more of a leader compared to the 90s version, where it took her longer to take her duty seriously. Agree to disagree, okay, that's just how I see it. The rabbits appearing around her are just a reminder to let us know she's not the rabbit on the moon, but it's a small piece of her personality, as a reminder who Usagi is as a character in the series. Well, that's it for this video. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty difficult going through the research because, any myths, like I mentioned, there's just so many and so many different versions. Like, it's hard to pick, but I wanted to pick the ones that I think would be best to tell. So, yeah. And I hope to continue to do this. This is something that I would like to do. Um, yeah. I hope to see you guys in my next video. Other than that, I'm just going to go ahead and end it here. All right. See you then. Bye.